Years ago, guano miners used to haul bucketfuls of bat crap out of Bracken Cave through this mine shaft. Going into a bat cave, for any reason, was and still is a ridiculously dirty and dangerous, disgusting job. Let's do it.
No one here really harvests bat guano anymore, but today, Bracken Cave, 60 miles outside of Austin, Texas, is the place to be if you're a bat biologist like Jim Kennedy.
Well, whenever I see a respirator and a hard hat, I get a little nervous, and I guess with good reason. Jim, we're in front of Bracken Cave. If I listen very carefully, there's some chirping.
You hear a real high-pitched, chittery noise.
Yeah.
That's the bats.
And how many bats are in there?
Well, right now there's probably close to 40 million.
40 million?
Yes, we have lots of bats. In fact, this is the largest known concentration of warm-blooded animals anywhere on the planet.
Why do I have to wear this in there?
If you don't, you're going to die. To put it pretty bluntly.
Good tip.
Not only is it hot and humid in the cave, but there's very high levels of carbon dioxide, and what's worse is the ammonia. On the floor of the cave, there's a kind of beetle called a dermestid beetle, which is a flesh-eating beetle. And when these beetles are feeding off of the guano and other things, they're producing a lot of ammonia as a byproduct. And it gets really high levels. If we didn't have the respirators, your eyes would burn, your throat and lungs would burn, you would soon pass out and be stripped to the bone by all those beetles.
I have a gray t-shirt and you have a fancy crimson and blue nylon treated rubber bat suit.
Pretty spiffy.
Yeah, one of us didn't get the memo. Let's go batting.
Okay.
Even without an official bat suit, I soldier on toward the mysteries of Bracken Cave.
Watch those loose rocks.
Between the rocks and the mosquitoes and the mites and the flesh-eating bugs.
Oh, you gotta keep your eye open for snakes too.
Good. Any particular type of snake?
Occasional rattlesnake. We get coach whips, but we don't worry about them.
So I'm thinking the respirator has to go on before the helmet?
Respirator first, helmet on top.
Man, it really stinks.
Yeah. You gotta, sound like Darth Vader. No, I am your father.
Our force is strong with this one.
Very good. Get your helmet. Should sit right on the front there. Perfect. Let me angle your headlight a little. There you go. All right, let's pick our way down the slope.
As I descended into the darkness, I found myself ankle deep in dried bat droppings.
Are we walking in sand or guano? That's powdered bat guano. Holy sh**. I don't know if it's holy. It's definitely sh**.
Jim's primary mission is to monitor the bats and their living conditions to ensure that the population is not being threatened by outside forces. Several times a year, Jim must venture into Bracken Cave to inspect the roost and chart any variations in temperature.
You feeling the rain yet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're pissing all over me.
They're a little nervous and excited, you know?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, Mike, come here. I want to show you something. Remember what the temperature I told you was in the cave normally when the bats aren't here?
Like 68?
About 68. This is an infrared thermometer. Whenever a beam goes out and hits it, comes back and it tells us the temperature. The floor right now, 86 degrees. Let's shoot up the ceiling. You know, hot air rises. Let's see what we got up here. Might be a little hard because all the bats flying around. Now, 90 degrees. No wonder we're sweating.
Explain to me again, Jim, exactly why you're down here. I know you're taking temperatures, but I mean, why? Why?
Well, you know, the bats are important. And because they congregate in just a few caves, they're very vulnerable, too. So we need to keep track of their populations. We need to see how they're doing. You know, are the bats still reproducing? Are they still giving birth? Or is the population declining? Where are they roosting in the cave? We want to see if the cave is still suitable for them. Yeah, let's go a little further back in the caves. All right, I want to show you something here.
All right.
Jim also gets hands-on with the bats, checking them for parasites and signs of disease.
There you get to see a Mexican free-tail bat up close.
Look at that.
Nice, long, narrow wings.
Right.
These guys are flying long distances.
How far do they fly?
Well, each night they're flying, oh, maybe 100, 150 miles to get to their foraging area.
Right.
But in the wintertime, they're flying down into Mexico. That's why we call them Mexican free-tailed bats. And they're roosting in caves down there. They don't hibernate, they stay active year-round.
Right.
But they're flying somewhere between, 1,000 and 1,500 miles to get to their winter roosts.
That's incredible. How much do they eat?
They're eating at least their body weight every night.
And that's why we're standing in.
Tons of guano. The bats, each night, this colony alone is eating over 200 tons of insects.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of byproduct, yeah.
So tell me what's going on here, Jim.
Well, you see on the surface lots of fresher bat droppings. They're not all broken down into little dust like we were seeing before. There actually are pellets now. We also see the remains of the bats that didn't make it. You got a lot of young bats that on their first flight, they've never flown before, they're dropping out, and a lot of them just crash and burn. We also get some older bats, some adults and so on, as they get older, and some of them eventually die in here as well. And these bugs here on the floor, these are the domestic beetles and their larvae, they're taking advantage of that.
It's incredible. It's like the whole floor is moving.
Yeah.
You know what? It's getting hard to breathe.
Yeah, let's go out.
As we headed back to the surface, I learned that getting into Bracken Cave was a whole lot easier than getting out.
Whoa.
A little soft there, be careful.
Jim.
Yeah. It's not quicksand, it's quick guano.
Oh, crap. I walked out of my boot. Hang on a minute.
Let me get to some drier spot. I can give you a better hand.
Oh,
Yeah, really. Okay, let's try and back up a little bit, came in. There you go.
Always get the right size boot.
Okay, you gonna take that light?
Yeah.
It's like quicksand, lean forward. Get your body weight out. All right.
I'm stuck in guano. Hold on. I'm trying to save the boot.
Yeah, now I'm going in.
Because I don't want to walk out with bare feet. All right, that's one. How about if I sit down?
You can try that, or lay down flat.
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do
All right.
in
In quicksand.
quicksand.
What a stupid way to die.
Making some progress.
Maybe the key is to get my leg out and then get the boot.
Okay, can you do that?
I'm gonna try.
Move the gear.
All right, there's my foot. Watch where it comes from.
I'm watching, I'm seeing the boot.
All right?
Yeah. Okay. That is hot in there.
Yeah.
Success!
Oh, man. You know how to show a guy a good time.
It sure is a dirty job, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
No. Unfortunately, lots of Oh, you want me to touch that?
This is your cave, pal, not mine.
Don't worry, we'll hose you down when we get out.
Oh, I bet you say that to all the guys. Look at that. That's unbelievable. Well, this little episode, we'll just keep between you and me, if you don't mind.
I won't say how
Thanks.
you stumbled into guano almost to your death.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Man, oh man.
Yeah. Let's take our time going out, because if we start breathing hard, it's gonna be really tough. Yeah. You know, Mike, no matter how much I like caves, it's always good to get out.
No kidding.
Particularly bat caves.
Oh, God. I think I got a mite in my ear.
That's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life.
It is so hard to describe. People ask me, well, what do you really do as a bat biologist? How do you tell them what that's like? You can't. Words just fail.
Thanks for pulling me out of the crap earlier. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, that's just a flesh-eating beetle.
Hey, didn't you want to stick around and watch the emergence?
Say, that sounds swell, Jim.
At least we don't have to be in it.
You got to be in it to win it. Now let's get some of this poop off and watch some bats fly around.
Yeah, let's wash up and...
Another sentence I didn't think I'd ever utter.
Every night, just before sunset, the first of 40 million bats begin to emerge from Bracken Cave. Within a matter of minutes, the sky is filled with these hungry, winged creatures heading out on a nighttime feeding frenzy.
It takes a while for 20, 30 million bats to get out of one cave.
It takes several hours, 2-3 hours for this many bats to leave.
Now the breeze we're feeling is being made by the bats.
Yeah, as they're coming up, gaining elevation, they're getting close, you can feel that wind.
How can they not be smashing into each other? I mean, it looks like they're just flying randomly.
That's one of those great mysteries of nature. You know, they're echolocating, so they're all emitting those high-frequency sounds, but they're all echolocating. So you figure it's got to be just cacophony there, just so many sounds going on. And yet, they're able to do it.
Incredible.
After enduring knee-deep guano,
Not quicksand, it's quick guano.
urine showers,
You feeling the rain yet?
Yeah.
flesh-eating beetles, and toxic gas,
It's getting hard to breathe.
Yeah, let's go out.
I met up with another bat biologist, Barbara French, at the Bat Rehabilitation Clinic, also known as her house.
This is a book called The Captive Care and Medical Reference for the Rehabilitation of Insectivorous Bats, and this is one of the authors, Barbara French, and we're in your kitchen.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out by fixing some food for these insectivorous bats.
So these would be mealworms?
Exactly. This is what the insect-eating bats are going to eat. And you're going to blend these up in the blender into a liquid diet.
Great. This is when they're starting to think, wait a second, something's going horribly wrong. My apologies, mealworms. This is a smoothie, essentially.
Yeah, it is.
A horrible smoothie.
It ends up looking like sort of a chocolate smoothie. It looks kind of good, doesn't it?
Well, good is not the first word that leapt to my mind, but it does look edible.
It actually will taste like basically neutral, I'm sure.
No, it tastes like something. It tastes like something, Barb.
Did it?
Yeah, it still does, actually. I think I'll be tasting it for the rest of the day, probably.
What exactly did it taste like?
It tastes a lot like what it looks like, to be honest with you.
This is the bat hospital.
The Bat Hospital?
Right, this is the bat hospital. Come on in.
Yeah, it smells like a bat hospital.
Uh-huh. Okay. This is Peaches. Peaches is going to get fed. So in order to do that, you're going to go ahead and take some food here into the syringe.
Just extract it out of there?
Yes.
Is that too much?
That's fine, that's
Okay.
fine. Now what we're gonna do is I'll have you hold her like this, okay?
Right.
Now you wanna kind of, secure her a little. And go ahead and start putting this up to her mouth.
Like so?
And yeah, exactly.
Look at that. Okay, here we go,
And see if
Peaches.
she's gonna cooperate.
Look at Peaches go. Come on, it's good. Maggot meal. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Gotta be happy with that, Peaches. You don't have to burp or anything.
No.
All right.
Let's see if I can
All right,
find
that's
it.
all. That's all, Peaches.
Okay.
All right. So, Barbara, there's movement in here. That's normal, right?
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right. These are the little Mexican free-tailed bats. We'll go ahead and bring one out.
And are they here due to injury or orphanage?
They are due to injury, right. Some of them are non-releasable and they stay here. She had some dental problems when she came in, actually. She had a couple of teeth knocked out and was found in a gym. And so I don't know what she was doing in the gym, but she lost a couple of teeth there. So we're gonna brush her teeth
Sounds
also.
like a whole nother, or her tooth, or the remaining teeth.
Right, now you're gonna have to put some magnification on to do this.
I love these things. Great.
So now I'll hold her and we will open her mouth very
Look at
carefully.
that.
And you can brush those teeth.
How firmly?
Just very gently.
Super gently.
There. And on the sides.
Brushing, brushing.
Good. Great.
Now spit.
Good job. She's fine.
All right, the receptionist will see you on the way out. We'll see you again in 6 months. The Barbara bat's a very sophisticated way to communicate, obviously.
That's right.
Most people know that, but I didn't know all this. I mean, they've got lots of different calls.
These are social calls, which are different from their echolocation. Echolocation, they're emitting sounds through the mouth or some through the nose, and those sounds are bouncing back to their ears. Those are sounds that we can't hear.
Territorial call, courtship call, distress call, directive call, warning, several warning calls. So the female response chirp, what does that sound like?
It sounds like choo, choo, choo.
And the territorial call?
Chi chi chi, chi chi chi, chi chi chi, and then.
So if I were to go chi chi chi, chi chi chi, chi chi chi, and you were to go ch ch ch,
That means I accepted your offer.
it means I got a shot. It means I'm coming over.
It means I'm coming over to your house.
We're hanging out at the cave.
Exactly.
All right. So,
Okay.
into where the large bats are?
Into where the large bats are.
Into your home, in other words.
Into the home. Okay. Now these are the flying foxes.
This is the bat room.
Exactly. This is, as you can tell, these are bats that have their own distinct odor.
Yes, they do.
And these are African straw-colored flying foxes. These are fruit bats.
This is what you did with your back room. I mean, you could have gone with the computer office or a library. You
I
got
decided
a
to
bat
go with
cage.
the fruit bat motif, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
great.
let's go on in.
Sure.
And this is Zoe. Zoe's coming to take a look at you.
Hey, Zoe.
She likes to be scratched right here, right at the base.
Where are you
of where the
scratching?
tail would be, right there.
Oh.
Very gently. Yeah,
Oh, sure.
very gently.
I like that too.
She's
Now this is, I mean, as bats go, how does this rate on the size chart?
Well, they probably have a 2.5 to 3 foot wingspan. There are bats that actually have almost a 6 foot wingspan. And see, she's very interested in you, very curious about.
Well, I'm a fascinating guy.
Let's take Zoe here. And they're a little bit more difficult to hold on to. Oh, excuse me. And so if you wanted to hold on, you would need to hold so that her toes are kind of wrapped around your finger.
Right.
And
Look at that. Urine, guano, mites, flesh-eating beetles. Bat biologist. A dirty job.